Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today what I'm going to do is show you how to make 8 different shapes of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which are beginner, simple, easy folds. You've got your 8 1/2 by 11 starting cardstock, and you're going to just be cutting it in half, and then there's one score fold that makes 4 of the cards and 2 score folds that make the other 4. So this is a really simple thing to do. So you take your 8 1/2 by 11 and you line it up halfway, which is 4 1/4. Now the tools I'd recommend for this are paper trimmers, always really brilliant, and also scoreboards. They're the thing that I love to use the most. You can get away with this by just using pencils, rulers, scissors, etc. if you're a complete beginner and not sure if you want to get into this or not. But this is showing you 8 ways to make 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch cards. So what you need to do is line up on the trimmer 4 1/4 with your card portrait and just cut it in half. Okay, they're going to make 2 cards now. And then we're going to do the same again, exactly the same card. So we're going to line up portrait. We're going to go 4 1/4 like this. Can't see what I'm doing. Another 2. And it'd just be the way you score them and position them on how they're going to be different. Then we're going to spin them around for landscape on the second 2. So this is using 4 sheets. So we're going to line it up at 5 1/2 and we're going to cut it in half again. Got another 2 card blanks, and then again landscape 5 1/2 and cut it in half again. So now we've got all of our 8 card blanks. So 4 sheets of 8 1/2 by 11 make 8 blanks. Now it's all about how we are going to score those on how they become different in look. So what I'm going to do is just remove these cards for now. I'm just going to start. We'll do the most basic ones first with 1 fold, and then we'll move and do the second ones. So all you're going to do is line it up landscape. So that's with your 8 1/2. Landscape always means it's longer one side and shorter in the depth. So line it up at 8 1/2, and then we know that 4 1/4 is halfway. So we're just going to score halfway. This is now going to be burnished. Now burnishing just means putting down the card and burnishing that score line. It looks much more professional. Okay, you get a nicer, crisper fold on there. So then we've got our first card, which is going to stand this way. It's going to open like so, and this is a basic card. Okay, so for the second one we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line it up at landscape and we're going to score it 4 1/4. Now what we're going to make here is, it looks exactly the same, and it is exactly the same, but it'd just be how you decorate it. So you decorate it landscape, and this is what we call a tent card. It sits this way. Okay, so this is your normal card opening, and this is your tent card, and they're both A2 in size. Next we're going to move to our longer, slimmer cards that we made, and we're going to turn it landscape again, and half of 11 is 5 1/2. So we're going to score it 5 1/2 and then fold it. And then what this does, burnish it down, what this does, it gives us a landscape card. So you would decorate it this way and it will open this way, and they stand like this. So you've got a longer card. So if you look at these ones, they're shorter. You see, landscape and portrait. And this is a tent card as well, which we're going to make next. So it's the same score to make the tent card. So just score it 5 1/2 all the way down, fold it in half, and you've got yourself a tent card. So we've got a tent card, we've got a landscape card, we've got a portrait card, and a tent card. Okay, so you've got those 4 different shapes going on there. Now to make the next size, you're going to do exactly the same scores. The next shaped cards, we're going to do exactly the same. So we'll start with where we were before. So we make our standard card shape. So we're just going to score it 4 1/4, and that would give us our standard card shape. Sorry, and then we score it 2 1/8. So you've got 2 score lines on there, and that is halfway. So if you don't have a scoreboard, you can just fold your card in half and use something sharp to burnish it down. And then this is going to be called a fold back card. So you fold the front back. So where we had our normal standard A2 card, we've now got a fold back A2 card. And you just decorate this with mats and layers. Now this is a beginner series of card making, which I will have a playlist of, and I will teach you all about matting and layering, tools to use, etc. But this is just to get you going on 8 different shapes from, you know, one size of card. So they're all going to fit in your A2 envelopes. So you've got that fold back there. So that's another different look. And then we're going to do the same thing again with the same card. And again, we're going to score it at 4 1/4, which is halfway. And we're going to score it 2 1/8, just a quarter of the way. And with this one, we're going to fold it in half and make the card that we've started with, the base card, like this, the portrait card. But what we're going to do is we're going to not fold it back and make the fold back like we did before. We're going to fold it inwards to the seam. Just fold it inwards to the seam and then open it back up and then reinforce this score line down here. Okay, just get that one going. And now what you've got is an easel card. So what you do with an easel card is you get a sentiment or a topper there, you pop it onto a foam tape, which is, you know, just like a piece of foam, a foam sticky foam pad, something like that. You would just pop that down there, put your sentiment on there. You'd have a bigger one than that probably, and that stops it from sliding, but it also folds flat to go in the mail. Obviously you've got the depth of your foam pads, etc., but that's how you would fold it, and then the recipient just opens it and props it up against the stopper. We call that a stopper on an easel card. So we've got our easel card. Now we're going to go on to this one, and we're going to do the same thing, put it on the scoring board landscape, score it at 5 1/2, and then at 2 3/4, which is half of 5 1/2. So you're just doing a quarter side. So we're going to fold that one in like we did the last one, line it up, burnish. And another tip, don't burnish across the scoreboard, it will leave little indentations. I'm just doing it to keep my scoreboard in the same place. I would normally do all my scores, take the cards away. Now what we've got is a fold back, but it's a landscape fold back. So where we had a portrait fold back, we've now got a landscape fold back. And if you wanted to join 2 cards together, so you would put 2 together, obviously the same size, and you could have a gatefold fold back, but we can go into that another time. I don't want to confuse you guys, especially if you're just starting out. So that's how you do that. And then finally, we're going to make a portrait easel. So this one's going to be a nice shape. So we're just going to pop this one down at 11. Score it at 5 1/2 and at 2 3/4. So exactly the same as what we did before when we folded our card in half like this, and we had our landscape card, and then we had our fold back card, but we're going to fold it inwards. So what we're going to do now is fold it inwards, then you open it up and you can see it's bouncy, so reinforce this here like that to get it to stand up. Now when you put your stopper on this easel card, just going to use a little one again. When you put your stopper on this card, just work it out, because if you come too far away, like say it was there, it may not stand up. So make sure you've got enough depth to let it stand up there, and put your stopper there. So now you've got like this easel card that butts against the stopper, but it also folds down to go in the mail. Now the other good thing about these easel cards is that you can add toppers where you only put the glue on the bottom half that are as big. So say, imagine there's a big oval there, you can just glue the bottom half of it, because when it folds it comes down, but when it steps up you'll have the oval extruding from the top. So they're a really nice way to go. So there we go, we've got our 8 cards. So let me know if you're enjoying these types of beginner series, and if they're successful then I'll keep going with them. So we've got easels, we've got fold backs, we've got our basic tent cards, we've got our portrait cards, we've got our tent cards that are tall, and then we've got our landscape that are long that way. So there's your 8 cards, guys. So get making, and I'll see you again real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.